Get that concept of a plane going.
Yeah. What a way to start. What's up, y'all? As you see, we are the concept of a podcast site. No, this is the Sports Hour Plus with Miller and Watson, episode 44, Benchings and Extensions featuring Matt Rogers. Obviously, Morgan is a little busy. Y'all know she's in her end of summer / fall of wedding, so it's good that we have a deep bench. And Matt is back finally.
Right.
So what's up, Matt? How you doing?
How's it going, people?
What's up, man? Everything's good with us. How you doing?
Man, just keeping up with work and continuing to keep up with the world of sports. There's a lot to talk about. You create an action-packed agenda. I must say, for people who are on podcasts, it's not people just droning on on one topic for 45 minutes. I mean, Kyla likes to go all over the place. My goodness.
That's right, man. Gotta be deep, man. Gotta be deep, man. I learned from the best, man. You were honorable mention, man. Shouts out to you. I don't know, is the new season coming up, or is that
oh yeah, absolutely. I've been looking forward. I have been knocked down with a cold the last couple of weeks, so I've really been only eligible healthy to play for only about 2-3 days. So I got on after with Jeff Warren on the Philadelphia Sports Table podcast.
Okay.
A few days ago. People can go check that out. That was really good. I went and had a lot to say about how the Eagles they are a team right now that continues to figure out ways to lose games, and largely, we'll get into this later. I think it's just because we got to know how to try to land a knockout punch and try to put people down by more than just, one score. We really got to, we got to relearn that.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Well, we'll definitely get into the Eagles, and Matt's here, so it's about to get real deep, because when Matt he comes so controversial. He be trying to put me on record with stuff. I don't know why.
Yeah.
He knows I have nothing to hide. I say what I say. We don't run in these podcast streets. You know that.
Okay.
I'm the man who said Toby 50. We don't run from those errors in judgment. We don't run for those errors in judgment, man. But yeah, man. So definitely make sure y'all give us a follow on X/Twitter. Morgan is at M_Indy_Miller. I am at Colin W. Watson. Matt is at Political.
You can find me on Threads. Yes. You can't. Don't go follow me over on Twitter. I don't use
the Bird app no more. He is at Audible Mention _podcast on Instagram and Threads. So definitely make sure y'all check him out there. Him and Trey are more on the Instagram side. You haven't met Trey yet, have you?
No, I have not.
We'll make that happen. Okay. But we can get to it. There's nothing else. Like I said, make sure y'all follow, like, comment, and subscribe. We'll get to the Eagles. We'll get to if Matt thinks the Saints are gonna march on tomorrow, or are the Eagles flying high. We'll get to all of that soon. But we got to start with the breaking news. I mean, what a week for the Sixers, man. The Sixers signed Joel Embiid to a 3-year, $192 million extension, making it, on top of his last 2 years remaining, a 5-year, $301 million, a milli contract, the richest contract, one of the top 3 richest contracts in NBA history. Y'all know the other 2 belong to the Killer Jays, obviously. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and Joel Embiid. A lot of Jays there. So, that is where we're at. So, Matt, I'll start with you, man. What's your reaction to this? Because I got to get you, since you say you're the more fair-minded of the 2 of us when it comes to Joel Embiid. So, I'm going to let you go first.
Well, no, so I think it's a big deal. I think it's I'm actually excited about it. I think it's a great thing that Joel Embiid continues to triple down. Of course, and NBA contracts are a bit different than NFL. There's not so much dead cap problems if Joel a couple years from now tries to force his way out. But for all all of the evidence that he's able to show us is telling us that Colin, your hands are really distracting. Like you're typing
Oh,
while we're talking.
sorry, bro. You got me?
Yeah, I got you.
All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I think it's a good. I think it's a big deal. That he continues to try to double down and on being a Philadelphia Sixer. Um, he could have, after the Ben Simmons situation, he could have wanted to leave. He could have wanted to leave after James Harden. Uh, that whole experiment didn't work out. And really, to be honest with you, I really still don't think that this Philadelphia Sixers team is a team that's really contended for a championship. They could be potentially challenging to be in the EFs in the ECF this year, but I really don't think that they're still even um really challenging for a title. So I mean, but it's awesome that they'll be able to brand downtown with Joel Embiid, um, and bring that money and bring that revenue in, and then and contend for the ECF. But I like I said, overall, I still don't think that this team's about to like bring one down Broad Street.
Well, Matt, no surprise here. Matt and I disagree, but this is often what happens when he comes on here because he is the Sixers pessimist when it comes to this, the Negadelphian, if you will, when it comes to the Sixers. Some people get held to a higher standard and stuff. So,
Oh, they do. Okay, they
Matt
do.
and I disagree on this as far as this, but as far as this goes, because we're not. That's not the question today. Are the Sixers title contenders? That will be a
What
question eventually.
standard?
But
What
you
standard?
you know what standard? We've talked about this, man. I will say that Matt is very fair when it comes to the standard that he holds the Sixers to. Um,
Oh, I appreciate you saying that.
yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, but I will give it to you. You are consistent. You say finals are bust. I don't think necessarily that they haven't played any meaningful basketball yet. But as far as
No,
this
we
goes, the
gotta get to
topic at
ECF.
hand,
We gotta get to the ECF.
yes, I think this is a finals contender. You think this is ECF. So
ECF contender.
yes, you think it's an ECF contender. I think it's
It's
a
not the
finals.
worst thing in the world, but
I know. Compared to what you usually say, I know. That's why I said you've been consistent. So that's not the question at hand. Joel Embiid, I think is great. This is great for him, as Matt said. I think that him doubling down or tripling down or quadrilateraling down on the Sixers, like he said, man, he could have left after Ben Simmons lost his will to play ball. He could have left after Markel Fultz lost his will to shoot right. He could have left after James Harden did what James Harden does, and pulled the TO, but he stayed. And it seems like his patience was rewarded. Obviously, he got Paul George. I think Matt and I both agree. I think most sensible Sixers fans agree. You do have the people that actually think Tobias Harris is better than Paul George. I don't think any real basketball fan does. But I think
no,
I think I think
no.
that I think that Paul George is a remarkable improvement over that. I did get into a disagreement with, as you all know, you see it in the box below. I have the Joel Embiid extension news right down there from yesterday for lastwordonsports.com. So check that out. But I think that is great. This is the most balanced Sixers team, I think, in the Joel Embiid era. I think what they lack for in size at power forward, they'll make up for. Obviously, they always have Dorian Finney-Smith out there. Not saying that will happen because I have no sources on that, but I'm just saying, hint, hint, pay attention to that.
That would be a great move.
Yeah,
That is what this team needs. I mean, so far, we'll get into that
yeah.
later, but
But
that's yeah.
yeah, but I think that if Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, and Paul George, did they get the chemistry figured out? Which it seems like they are. They're in the gym already working it out. So they work that out. And if they do half of what they did last year, so in my theory right now, this is not the topic at hand. We're kind of teasing it. This is for future shows and probably an honorable mention podcast later. So we're not going to tease y'all into thinking that we're going to be arguing about the Sixers all podcast. We are, but we're not right now. Right now. But I am of the mindset that those three do what they're supposed to do. If Aaron Gordon is just okay, they do the 6-man by committee thing. I think it'll work out, and I think the
How
Sixers.
old is Eric Gordon? No, like not even trying to be funny. How old is he? Like
I think he's like in his. Hold on, let me Google it. I got to be
probably
35,
37.
36. Yeah,
He,
yeah.
this is giving me serious PJ Tucker vibes.
Well, I'll say this, right? He's 35, so you were off by 2 years.
35. Okay.
Yeah, he just looks older than he
What did he
is.
score? What did he score? Let me see. Let me see what he scored last year. But anyways,
I mean, all I'm saying is all he got to do is be okay, man. He should score more than that with the amount of threes that the three of them create. But we'll see.
he scored 11 points a game last season. He scored 11 points a game the season before, 13 a game before that, 13. So
yeah, so he's consistent. All we're asking for is a okay bench piece, somebody who can shoot. Now, if he can do that, we don't know yet. Like, they haven't played any meaningful basketball, but it looks promising right now. And Joel Embiid, Sixer for life. Hopefully, we'll see. You don't really see this anymore.
I think he will be a Sixer for life. I agree with that.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen this since Tim Duncan and David Robinson. Which stay
This
tuned
level
for my
of yes.
stay tuned for my he's not him, she's not her, and they aren't them, because there's a podcast that was real disrespectful to Joel Embiid. I think Matt knows what I'm talking about, saying that he's not better than David Robinson and Patrick Ewing. Y'all disrespectful right now. Anyway, that's not the topic at hand. We will get to that. But
I wanna get to that.
what is the significance of this deal for the Sixers and Embiid? I'll start here. I think this is great for the Sixers and Joel Embiid. I think that, like I said, the Sixers had a really good week on the court and off the court, and we will get to that in a minute because we've got some opinions on this downtown. Well, I do. I know Matt's more in the DC state of mind, so I don't know if he has an opinion on the downtown arena.
I have opinions.
Okay, he does have opinions. Okay, I wasn't gonna hold him to that. But yeah, this is significant for the Sixers because that was really the last big thing left out there, right? Obviously, they're keeping a roster spot open. Who knows what Daryl Morey's Ivy League level brain is thinking with that open roster spot? I think Dorian Finney-Smith. Some people think Lowry Markkanen. I just don't think that the Sixers cap space can afford that right now, but we'll see. But I think that this is significant. Joel Embiid is committed. It's great that he got a gold medal and $300+ million, like I said he would. So I'm happy that he got his money. It's significant for the Sixers because it means that they have their core three players locked in at least until 2028. So that's great for them. And like I said, now that there's a commitment now between Paul George, Tyrese Maxey, and Joel Embiid, it's time to get to work, man. I think
it's time to get to work and get Laurie Markkanen and he be the three key, and then you put Paul George right where he should be because he is Toby Spider-Man, but he is better. He's better, but we're not going to get us non-Sixers complete apologists are not going to be gaslit into acting like Toby is damn Tracy McGrady. All right. I'm just saying.
Like I said, Paul George.
We can like PG.
As long as he's dropping at least 24 points a night, he's good.
No, he's not dropping 24 a game.
He dropped 24.
He's dropping 21.
Huh?
He's dropping 20. I bet you it's 21.
21, 20. I don't care. As long as it's more than Tobias Harris and he's grabbing more rebounds and playing defense and consistently, I'm okay with this.
Toby
But
was strapping.
uh,
Like
he, he
people not going to slander Toby like he
I'm
wasn't
not slandering
nothing.
him. Look, man, I'll take Toby 50, man. Between the
That's
two
what
of us,
I'm saying.
between the
My how
two
the tables have turned. My how the tables have turned.
ah, between the two of us, I was more on the Tobias Harris trade. Now he's
You
not here.
were. You turned on.
I didn't turn on him. He left. He's not here. I said he was good. He was good. Just not in the
He was
playoffs. He
good.
was good. I
People had too high expectations for Tobias Harris.
I
I
never
mean, it
did.
just wasn't fair. It just
I never.
right. I mean, you weren't too unfair, but people were like, you need like you. Of course, other than the time you said the 50, that was hilarious. But I mean, people were talking about Toby needs to drop 35 tonight. Like, if you get 35 from Toby, that's Toby cooking. That's Toby on his, really getting after it on it. I mean, Toby's a 17 to 23 guy. That's just who he is.
Yeah, and I agree with you. And I agree with you on that. But like I said, this is significant for both the Sixers and Embiid.
Big
Like
time. Big time.
like Matt alluded to, it's going to be great for the tickets when he's like in his late 30s, early 40s if he stays that long. But it's going to be great. We might actually get a clean transition from the Joel Embiid era, hopefully with a couple of rings, to the Tyrese Maxey era. So
A
we will see.
couple of rings.
Yes. That's where I'm at with it. A couple
Can
of
we
rings.
crawl? Can we crawl? Can we get to a conference
I said
final
hopefully a couple.
in
All
the
I said was
a second conference finals in the new millennium?
Look, man. Before all three of
We
their
talking
contracts
multiple
end,
rings.
the Sixers will have a new stadium, and by then, all I'm saying is I said at least a couple. So I'll be happy with just
At
one.
least
I'll be happy with just one because that will equal what the Phillies and the Eagles did, and then I don't have to hear certain people say, the Sixers are a clear third and not first or second." But we're not getting to that. I'm on record. You
does it
already
not met? Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm not getting to that. Y'all already know where I stand about who the king of the city is as far as the team. It's clearly Eagles, Phillies, Sixers, no particular order. But that's where it is. The Flyers are in this conversation. No disrespect to Flyers fans, but I think we all know that. Neither are the Union. So we'll get to that. But not in this show. We keep teasing it, but I don't think people don't, But it's significant for the Sixers and Joel Embiid and shows a commitment on both sides. You, sir, what do you think?
Oh, it's a big deal. Like I said earlier, I mean, it's great for all around for the team. I mean, I think it shows that the Sixers as a franchise have arrived to a place where one of the marquee players in this league, I mean, without a question, top 5 players in this league would say not only, it hasn't always been what I wanted it to be. If you're Joel Embiid, you're clearly, disappointed to this, but he's owning the disappointment. He's handling it in a different way than what you've seen from a lot of NBA superstars over the last so many years. A lot of guys, things aren't going well, they're ready to go. I mean, I would say I wouldn't go as far as back like Tim Duncan. I would say like pre-trade Dame Lillard. But I think that the Sixers have had much more success and have substantiated the trust that Joel has in them much more than Dame Lillard, the Trailblazers did for Dame Lillard.
Okay, I can agree with that. Rare, I can agree with that. So now we're gonna go to something that might get us both arguing. How do we grade Daryl Morey's offseason? Gets Joel Embiid, secures Paul George, get Gershon Yabusele. Like, looks like you got a balanced bench and everything else. Matt, I started the last one, so it's to you, Matt. What do you think?
I'd say A minus. I think it's a good offseason. I think you add and stabilize the floor. You continue to be aggressive. I think Daryl Morey, if anything, has always tried to, push the envelope. And really he doesn't. Daryl Morey, it appears Daryl Morey does not believe in the rebuilding year. He'll just reshuffle the deck, and he's coming at you just as hard as he was coming the season before. So you gotta like that from a sports fan perspective, even if you don't like the Sixers. You gotta like that from the sports fan perspective if you're looking at building a team. So as low as I can understand or hear a grade would be like B, but I would give him an A minus. I don't know. What do you think?
I'm gonna give him because I mean y'all know me. I respect people who back up what they say, and I feel like it was a long time ago, but just last year, I don't know what podcast it was on, but you and I were talking about, is Daryl Morey gonna back up his word? You were a little bit more skeptical than me. Obviously, I'm forever the optimist of the two of us. You're more the
For the
you're more
Sixers, yes.
yeah. I'm more the optimist. And
Mhm.
and you're more of the, you'd say realist, I'd say pessimist, but
Yeah. You cut out, but I heard the last thing I heard was you saying pessimist. For the people who are listening, I don't think it's pessimism. I think last season and the season before,
well, look,
you're back. So I'm back. I'm gonna stop interrupting, but you cut out. So I wanted to give people context because I'm not being pessimistic when I say that I think we keep. Now I'm saying that they're ECF challengers, but for years I've said that they're potentially second round challengers, and they have been they've fallen short of that. So I feel like it is realism when
I'm
it matches the reality of what occurs. You got to include injuries in what you consider to be the potential outcomes in sports. If a guy is injured every year, you got to factor in that they might be injured next season. I
oh
mean,
man,
what are
it
we
seems like
saying?
you get defensive of it. I mean, for those of you
No.
that don't know, like Matt and I are the same. We're both real good friends, obviously.
Yes,
We
absolutely.
respect each other,
Absolutely.
but this is the way our
Yes.
text chains go. Like a lot of times,
Yes.
like I'll be up on say a Jared McCain, and he'll be all like, "He's not going to see the floor. What does it matter?" Right? Is that not what happens?
And,
Like,
and
or I'll say something like, "I'm not high on the Boston Celtics yet." Matt will be like, "You're crazy. They're the best team ever." And I'm like, "Well, I got to see it in the playoffs, and actually see
and
them
then what happened?
match the hype."
And then
I never,
and then what
I.
happened?
It's not like I said they wouldn't win. I just said I don't see a
They
championship
ran
team
through.
yet.
They didn't win, Kylan. If the Sixers did what the Celtics just did, we would this whole podcast. You would have done a podcast every day till through today, talking about every dribble of the way they ran through people. Like,
I would definitely go through, run the heck out of that. But yes, yeah. So listen, my grade, you got an A minus, I got an A plus, man. Like I said
A
before,
plus. Whoa,
technology
why you
happened. Well,
A
here, here,
plus?
here. Let
He
me tell
didn't
you
get
why.
he didn't get Jordan. He didn't
Let
get
me tell you.
Bron. Like he got Pete.
Let,
All right, let's
let,
go. Let's
can
hear
I
it.
can I tell you why before
Yeah,
you
yeah.
skip
Tell
carelessly?
tell
Can I
us.
tell you
Tell
why?
tell me and everybody else who's like, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A. Okay. Look. A. I say A. A. You say A minus. I say
Okay.
A. Okay. A
Okay.
slash A
A.
plus. Okay, A. So here's where I'm at with it, right? I have to, before I got cut off technologically, I said I have to respect somebody who tells everybody, we were all, well, not me, but a lot of y'all were panicking after he flipped James Harden for Nicholas Batum and all the other stuff that he got. And he was
Mhm.
like, relax. He hit us with Aaron Rodgers. Relax. There's a plan. Everybody was like, is there really a plan? Is he lying? Is he
Mhm.
gaslighting
Mhm.
us? Blah, blah, blah. He
Mhm.
told y'all he would have a third star, and he got a third star.
Yeah.
Say what you want about whether you think Paul George now is Paul George. I am not saying he's going to come in here and be the Pacers Paul George before the leg injury where he was dropping 30 and everybody was legitimately saying he was a superstar. Well, you give me that. He was a superstar, at least with the Pacers before he got traded to OKC and before the leg injury. Will you give me that? And some people
Absolutely.
don't want
No, no,
don't
no.
want to give me
He
that.
was a superstar. I would say
Some people don't want to give me that.
Early on, I would give him. I would grant superstar all the way up to like early Clippers,
Okay.
PG.
Okay.
Yeah, still
But I'm just saying,
star to today. He's
yeah,
still a star.
right. But some people don't want to give me that. Like some people are
That's
arguing with
crazy.
me
See, that's
about
disrespectful.
whether he was a
See,
superstar or
y'all
not.
being
Like that's what I'm
disrespectful.
saying. Like so to me, and this was a Celtics fan, so like he was arguing with me about whether he was a superstar or not. So
Wait, see,
like
he said Pacers PG was never a superstar. Is that what he's saying?
he said in general overall, so that the superstar thing in his whole career, he's never been a superstar. Again, it can vary, but to me,
Never. He said he never was a superstar.
superstar. Yes.
Uh,
That's where I'm at.
no, because he pushed. Not to cut you off, but for because not everybody knows ball as much as you and I do. So, like, to give the listeners a little context, this is a man who carried a team with Roy Hibbert and what's his man, the ball dude,
Lance Stevenson.
Lance Stevens, no, David West
Yeah,
carried them,
West.
and they were giving LeBron and D Wade and Bosh. That was peak LeBron, and yeah, they were giving them serious. Like the Heat were not able to just dust them off, and that was a team that was seriously giving everybody the business. So to say that Paul George was not a superstar, just star level play doesn't provide what Paul George at that point in his career was a superstar. Just for the listeners, people.
Right. And for those of you that are like, nah, he was never a superstar, I just want to grant you that players now, right? Obviously, you have the generation of basketball fans, but we got players now who say that their basketball GOAT was Paul George before the leg injury. So let's remember that there are people way younger than us that think that Paul George is a superstar that are playing ball in college or high school right now. So, I'm of the mindset that he gets an A because, like I said, he backed up his bluster. There were a lot of people who didn't believe that there would be a third star. So he secured the third star.
Absolutely.
The bench is balanced. Like he brought back your guy and mine's, Andre Drummond. Like the center, we don't have. This is the first time in a while that
they needed that.
As Sixers fans, we don't have to worry about backup center. I feel like we got a solid. Again, I'm taking the fan hat off, but I feel like as a journalist and as a fan, there's nothing wrong with at PG. The only thing I can personally say as a reporter why I'm a little worried about is PF if Yabusele and Bona don't perform. Like, and that's it. But like that's a far cry from other Sixers seasons where I can be
but can I ask you something before we move over? Because we're going to get to NFL pretty quick. So I want to ask you something about the Sixers, about like the roster construction.
Right.
What do you think about letting Drummond start at center and going super big with Joel at power forward?
I think it could work. I don't know. I don't necessarily know if
because Joel wants to just hang around and be a small forward, just a big ass small forward, anyways, is what he wants to do. And so, like, on certain plays, we basically just play 4-on-5 so that Drummond and let Drummond like develop like a little pocket corner, mid range.
I could see. I think it will work in certain occupations. I don't think that's a lineup you run.
Not a mainstay, but yeah.
I feel like against the bigger teams, you can run that lineup if Caleb Martin isn't giving you what you want because he's not a PF either. But we'll see. I think as far as roster construction,
I really like Caleb Martin, by the way. I really like that
too. I think he's serviceable at power forward until you get a Dorian Finney-Smith or you find some way to Jedi mind trick what the former Celtics GM that's over the Jazz now to give you Larry Markkinen. I am of the mindset that won't happen. This is one we're flipped on. I love Lauri Markkinen, but I just don't think that what's his name the GM of the Jazz will give him to the Sixers for a cheesesteak and Caleb Martin.
What is the potential deal then? Like, what is it that people are talking? Don't tell me anything confidential, something you got on sources, but tell me what's publicly reported.
I don't know. I think people are thinking like, I would say maybe like, I don't know. I doubt they'll flip Drummond, but I just don't think that there's anything that the Sixers have that the Jazz will want. other than Tyrese Maxey, and we both know that's not happening. So,
Off
you
limits,
know,
absolutely off
I
limits.
I just don't know. That's what I'm saying.
They'll
Other
trade
than
you
a
to
three,
the stadium before they
yeah,
trade you Tyrese
yeah,
Maxey.
yeah. Other than a 3-team trade, I don't know what can happen. And that was before Paul George. Now I don't really know what they can actually do. I know that people want Lowry Market, and trust me, I do too. I'm just not seeing, and this is rare between the two of us. I'm just not seeing a deal that I think the Jazz would go for, other than with the multiple first round picks that we have. I'm sorry, that the Sixers have, not we, that the Sixers have. I don't think there's anything attractable about
I don't
what the
care about
Sixers have right
picks.
now.
I always think that I can flip
Yeah,
picks. If
I
if
know.
if you're asking me, I don't give a damn about a pick. I will
you,
empty the tank on a pick
you and Daryl
and
Morey
just
have the same philosophy about picks. Who cares? Who cares?
I really couldn't care. I couldn't care less because I can always get better. I can flip a guy for like 8 picks. If
So
it doesn't work out, I get a good guy that people have interest in. I
true,
drive up the level of interest and get my picks
true,
back later.
Drew. Yeah, but he says A minus. I say A plus. Where are y'all at on it? Let us know at Colin W Watson. Honorable mention underscore podcast. I'm sure y'all will let us know. But we're both in agreement. Daryl Morey, great offseason. So now we'll get to
Yes.
the more controversial part. Y'all spent like 30 minutes on these Sixers topics, but now we'll get to the more actual meat sociological stuff. The Sixers, Mayor Parker this week uh, signed what she would call a historic deal. Now nobody has seen the deal, but a historic deal that will keep the Sixers in Philly and will give them a Center City arena. And for those of you that have been hearing, you're not from this city or you're suburban adjacent or whatever, geographically, before we even get here, I just want to say, now while Chinatown is close to where the stadium is, where the stadium is about to be is not Chinatown. I just want to be objective here. I don't want nobody confused. I know some of y'all call it downtown Philly. It's called Center City. Some of y'all I heard it was called downtown Philadelphia. Center City is what
It's the
we,
gallery, right?
yeah, it's the gallery. But I just, for
Okay.
people who don't know the geographics and they
That's
just
not
hear
Chinatown.
from their
It's not
friends and
Chinatown.
stuff who are from Brooklyn and all these other places that come here to tell us what they think is going to happen with the stadium. I'm just going to tell y'all that where the gallery is not Chinatown. It's close to Chinatown.
It's
But
very close.
geographically,
You could walk there
yeah,
pretty quick, but no.
yeah, but geographically, it's not Chinatown. It's called Market East. That's what it's called. That's the
Mm-hmm.
neighborhood that it's in. And the other thing, just to be fair to where it is, because I've heard this too online, and this is just the Inquirer and other people's sort of Comcasty PR takes on it. No disrespect to the Inky, I do have some friends and family there. No offense to them, but there were some borderline takes here where people are like, it's not in a rich white neighborhood, and I want y'all to know that Center City is one of the richest parts of this city. Matt and I can agree on that. It is definitely
I
in a
mean,
rich white area. Like
of
Center
course.
City is like the richest part of the city, but I've heard that too. This is not a ghetto. This is Center City where the
Come
gallery is.
on.
This is one of the richest parts of the city. I just want to be fair before Matt and I go in on what we actually think here. And Matt is actually more close to as far as what some of y'all may think because he's actually in DC. So he's been to I have too, the Verizon Center, whatever it's called. Now I think it's called something else right now. So he's a little bit
Yep.
more close to. There's been comparisons to this of what happened with DC's Chinatown. Obviously, what happened with that was way before either of us were born, but you're a lot closer to what people compare it to as far as DC, Brooklyn, MSG, and everything else. So I'm gonna let you. I think you went first, right? The
Yeah.
last topic. So I'll
Yeah, I
go
went
first
first.
here.
So go ahead. Yeah, tell me what you think.
Yeah. So let me just say, right? Being fair here, like I said, I want to be fair and objective. This is not near China. It's near Chinatown, and this is in one of the richest parts of Philadelphia. So for those of you, the other half of my degree is in sociology. So like I said, I am sensitive to the whole gentrification thing. I've talked to people. I won't reveal sources and stuff. Some people who say, it's about time as far as where they put something in Chinatown. Others who say like, that they're sensitive to gentrification stuff, but it's got to go somewhere, and they can't play in Camden and or Delaware. So as far as I'm concerned, this was a win-win situation for the city. Obviously, no city, except for maybe some of y'all, would turn down $3 billion just in profit and in tax, and also in unnamed tax revenues. Again, not my opinion here, but for those of you that don't know how Philly politics work, what happened here is you had Chinatown against it and all the power in the city besides Chinatown and Comcast. The unions wanted it, right? The NAACP wanted it. The black clergy wanted it. The Black Business Association, Black Commerce wanted it, right? The Small Business Association, all the stuff associated with that wanted it. The power in the city wanted it, right? This is the Philadelphia. Sometimes y'all want to compare it to New York or where Matt is currently, DC. It's way more of a very, very tight power dynamic here than what most people think. And if you're not from here, you don't understand how the power dynamic is. Like I said, the coverage has been way more pro Chinatown than it should be. As somebody who lives in this city, like, they were never staying in South Philly. They were tired of paying Comcast. I have been telling people, and Matt has heard me say this, that Camden was always a threat because that's where the Sixers practice facility is right now. Camden was always a threat. The Sixers owners are from except for the guy who's building the stadium. Everybody's from New Jersey. Jersey was always a threat, right? Mm-hmm. Delaware wasn't, but Jersey was always a threat. I think anybody objectively can see that, right? Some of y'all just realized, based on this coverage, where the Sixers actually practice. Y'all thought it was still PCOM. That hasn't been PCOM for a while. Like, I am of the mindset that, while I'm sensitive to the gentrification argument, they had a public meeting 2 weeks ago. I was listening in on that through a Bible study, and I all I heard, right, was the usual stuff with Chinatown. We don't have no parking. We should get more parking lots. We heard people and some of y'all may think I'm being disrespectful. This is what they call it colloquially here, and what people that are of the LGBTQI community call it's called the neighborhood. I'm not being disrespectful.
Absolutely.
That's what we all call it.
That's the neighborhood.
It's called the neighborhood. That's what we call it, right? The neighborhood, people were saying codedly, right? And y'all can read between the lines. I know the people who watch the show are very smart. They were saying that they don't want certain elements in over there because they think it'll negatively affect Chinatown and the neighborhood. And I was thinking, like, the majority of Sixers fans are black. So what are you saying, right? Like, there's just some things with this, right? Obviously, the study has come out. Those of you that want to read it, I'll give you the Cliff Notes version. Basically, Chinatown's going to suffer gentrification whether the stadium gets built or not, right? Because it's Chinatown. No one lives there.
The proximity is just to all the money is.
Yeah, all the people that are proactively going in for Chinatown either live in West Philly, University City. They're Penn students, they're Temple students, they're people from Chinatown in New York who really have no say in the city or power to do anything. And they're from different spots that have nothing to do with Philadelphia. And I am being completely objective here, right? Like, I feel like there is a gentrification argument. I do not want Chinatown to end up like DC's Chinatown. But at this point, as has been said, right, the new gentrified gallery sucks. There's nothing there that anybody wants. I was just down there earlier in July. No one goes there. There are a lot of people in our age group, mid-20s and 30s, single people from 8th Street all the way down to the historic center that only go to work and then go home and probably hit the bars in Penn's Landing. And that is not what you want if you're a city, right? You want something. The gallery isn't doing it. It's not what it was when Matt and I were kids, where we all met up there, had fun there. Nothing really happened. It was just a fun hangout, right? But that's not what it is anymore. It's gentrified, and it's not doing well, right? Only thing you go downtown for now is the skating rink, the terminal, because Reading Terminal is the best. That's it. That's it. Like, that's it. And the clues were always there. Like, and Matt knows, like, Amtrak doesn't do anything lightly. Like, Amtrak just announced that they're redoing 30th Street. That was a big clue for those of you that paid attention. They were talking about how they're going to make a Delaware River Trail that connects to New Jersey and connects to Delaware River like the Schuylkill River Trail is now. Why would they do that if they didn't know something was coming, right? Like, they were talking about hotels and more condos. Obviously, University of Arts went belly up too. So there's more stuff down there. Like, I told people this plan has been in motion for a while. And if you were paying attention and you weren't blinded by bias, you saw this was coming on Monday months ago, right? Like I said, they're not announcing a 30th Street redo. like Matt knows because he's more in touch with. I'm not saying he has Amtrak sources, but he's in the political game. He knows when Amtrak is talking about upgrading something, they know something's coming up. Like Amtrak does nothing in a bubble. Correct, Matt? Like, am I wrong? You're closer to it than me.
Well, I won't say I won't speak for them, but what I'll say is, any smart development would take these things into account way ahead. You don't want to need to catch up after the people start coming to the stadium, because first impressions are everything. So
Right.
things are going to roll out. There's a rollout. There's good order to things. And I mean, all I will say is just to, and then we can move on after what you have to say about the stadium. But what I'll say is, like, you said everything very well. I mean, I agree with what you were saying. And it was just a bad deal that they were getting downtown. I mean, the only unfortunate thing is that it is
South Philly.
unique to get to do to buy the link and buy Citizens Bank Park. It's unique and cool that everything is down there. So it's unfortunate from that perspective, but it was just a it was a raw deal they were getting. And yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say it like this. I think it's a central, like I said, being careful with the gentrification thing, because none of us, especially as Black people who have been on the wrong side of gentrification when it comes to all of this stuff. MSG used to be a thriving Black neighborhood before that got torn down. University City as well. So there's a bunch of stuff being sensitive to gentrification. Chinatown is going to put up as big a fight as they can, obviously, but I just think that it was the Sixers wanted out. The gallery isn't really doing anything, so this was always going to be like more than likely where the stadium went. I felt like a lot of people wanted it to be the Navy Yard, but the Sixers' stated goal was to be close to a big subway station and somewhere where everybody and all of their fans could get to without driving and without putting everything in gridlock. And that's one of the bad parts.
That's the new model.
Yeah, somebody who went to WrestleMania this year, which was in Philly. That was the best part of being there, was being able to go on that subway and not be in that traffic. I went to a Phillies game recently where we took the subway in and then drove back with a friend, and it took us like 40, 50 minutes to get out of there. So, like, I speak from experience that traffic is a nightmare.
Yep.
I rather take the subway when I go to South Philly. And like, you made this argument, right? And here's the thing, with all due respect to South Philly, and they're gonna redo stuff now with the Eagles, Phillies, and Flyers, but other than Xfinity Live and the casino, and if you don't gamble, the casino's out for you anyway, right? If you all there is to do down there is Xfinity Live and tailgating. So it's not really people make it seem like it's a utopia. It's not really a utopia if you're trying to do anything.
Lots.
Yeah, it's parking lot. So the Sixers are right to leave there, and like Matt said, they're getting a raw deal. Comcast never really treated them, especially once they sold the Sixers, like they were the draw, because that's the only reason to go to Wells Fargo Center. With all due respect to the Flyers fans, no one's going to Wells Fargo Center. When the Sixers leave, I will bet you Wells Fargo Center won't be doing the numbers with the Flyers, with Nova. All due respect to Nova. And with the concerts that they were doing with the Sixers. So
something's gonna have to happen there, because we know that they're not gonna be able to pay that rent.
Yeah,
they're not gonna be able to pay to the
they just won't be
multiple millions per game.
Yeah,
and then they wouldn't. It's not even like it's their locker rooms. You can't even leave your stuff in the locker room. You got to clean your stuff. What the hell are we talking about? It's the 21st century.
Yeah,
we're a professional damn sports franchise.
Right, they gotta bring stuff in from Camden to there, and the Comcast is like, we'll give you 50-50. I'm like, that should have been the deal from the start anyway. Moving right along,
that we had to negotiate to that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, so moving right along to the one of the more impactful stories here to get to this week. Tomorrow in the NFL, Bryce Young bench for Andy Dalton. I never thought I'd have to read that in 2024. I think you can go first. because I went first the last time. So it's on you.
I think I think right now the pendulum, sports and football especially, is things move and things are cyclical. I think right now a lot of teams are being quick to move on from their quarterbacks. Young quarterbacks aren't really getting a chance to succeed. I think the situation with Bryce Young is really unfortunate because, first of all, I think the Panthers just suck. I think that they're just a bad team. And so Bryce Young is getting the brunt of, yes, he's not playing well and he has not progressed from even like the third, fourth game of last season. Granted, he is playing bad, but I think that it tells me more about the organization of the Panthers, that he's playing so badly. And then you bench him for Andy Dalton. We know exactly what we're getting from Andy Dalton. And to be honest, y'all, the Panthers guys, y'all not winning this division. You're not getting a playoff spot. So what are
Reality,
we learning? What are we
reality check
learning?
with Matt Rogers. This is a new segment.
You're not. I mean, the whole thing is reality check. I mean, you can't be delusional about this stuff, folks. Like, we're putting Andy Dalton in? So what? We win 5 games this year instead of 2 games this year.
Right.
I mean, like like,
Right.
a- and it's not like Andy Dalton is bad. Andy Dalton is a very serviceable backup quarterback, and if you need him for 2, 3, 4 games, he can get you there, or at least keep you above water. We're not learning anything though about the Panthers as an organization or about Bryce Young. They better put a timetable on this, or they're going to ruin this young man's career, and they're going to drive down. It's also dumb, and I'll let you weigh in on this, but it's also dumb from a business perspective to bench this man. Now you're telling the world that y'all are the organization who gets to see him every day. You get to see how he leads people. You get to see he shows up on time. He's working after. He's doing film. He's understanding the plays. He's building his teammates up. And y'all in week 3 are sitting this man down. And so y'all are saying that he's not a franchise guy for Andy Dalton. And so you're putting yourself, if you guys don't get this guy back in the next 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, what happens is, if you guys just ride this season out, let's say Andy Dalton plays fine, you guys win your 5 games. At the end of the season, you have to trade Bryce Young. But what are you going to get for him? Because it's a yard sale. Like, I'm not paying you what the tag price that you put on this chair. Yeah, sure. If I bought this chair at the store, I buy this chair for $100, but it's in your yard. And so, do you want to say, I'll walk away? And that's what's going to happen. You're killing the value. You're killing his career. You're not learning a damn thing about your team. Deontay Johnson, I mean, that was not that big of a move for y'all to. So I just think it's an absolutely terrible decision. It's more indicative of the Panthers' piss poor nature as a franchise right now than it does about Bryce Young, who also should be held accountable because he doesn't look better. But it tells me a lot more about the Panthers organization than him.
Yeah, I think you spit nothing but facts. I don't really have much to add on this besides the fact that this is just, like you said, the Panthers being the Panthers, man. Like, David Tepper runs a piss poor organization. It is an embarrassment, and it's saying something that I'm saying that that's an embarrassment when you have the freaking Cleveland Browns still rolling out
Exactly.
Deshaun Watson every Sunday. So it's an embarrassment. Just because of what you said as you were talking, I moved on to the next question. But my reaction to this is, again, this is 2024. Why aren't we giving these young quarterbacks a chance? I mean, it's not Bryce Young's fault. He doesn't have an offensive line, so he really doesn't get time. He's
No.
already like a little bit shorter than Russell Wilson, I think. So
And really skinny.
yeah,
And really skinny.
He needs time. He doesn't really have a good offensive coordinator. Like Dave Canales is okay. Like, I'm of the mindset that
Who's the weapon?
yeah,
Who's
like
the weapon there? Miles
right.
Sanders? Deontay Johnson? I mean, come
Probably.
on, people.
Like, I am of the mindset that the Panthers are cursed. They've been cursed since they screwed over Cam Newton. And I
Yep.
just think that Dave Tepper is a bad owner who needs to sell the team. I think that Bryce Young, I think we're going to get to the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins should give the Panthers a call and save Bryce Young. I think that Bryce Young just needs to be in
Yes.
an organization that'll believe
100%.
that will believe in him, let him thrive, give him the Jordan Love treatment, give him the Jalen Hurts treatment, let him learn somewhere where he can grow, where he doesn't have to be thrown in somewhere right
Really
away.
want to throw him away?
Yeah.
You're going to throw him away for Andy Dalton, people.
Right. And I mean, like, at this point, we know that Arch Manning or Quinn Ewers, whichever one of them is going to be the number one pick, will probably not end up in Carolina. Well, Quinn will.
Why would you want to?
Arch
That
Manning will.
family
Well, I mean,
already
it's
did the Eli
like
thing.
Other than
Eli was like, if y'all draft me, I'm not coming. So they're going to do that to the Panthers.
Other than the
damn
Manning,
that.
right? I don't think most. That's why I said Quinn Ewers or Arch Manning. Arch Manning will probably not play for the Panthers. So I am of the mindset that it's just the Panthers being the Panthers. And I think, like, to answer the next question, and you already answered, it says way more about the Panthers organization. They suck. Like Matt just said, what's the weapon? Bryce Young is the weapon, and that's That's the problem right there. He can't throw to himself. Like, what's going on with Bryce Young is, like, to a lesser extent, which is what is going on with Josh Allen. Like, you can't expect Bryce Young to be able to win with himself as the weapon. Just like, even though I think that Josh Allen is not a top 5 quarterback because they have to show me, I know that Matt and Morgan and a lot of people that come on this podcast disagree with me. He's not in my top 5.
I can hear the argument, but damn, I haven't heard anybody say he's not even top 5.
Yeah, he's not top 5 to me. So
we'll have to get on that later.
Yeah,
so that'll be its own
Have
show.
you not been listening to old Morgan was like, what do you mean he's not top 5? I'm like, he's not top 5 to me. Like, it's not his fault that he has to go against Patrick Mahomes, but, like, even Joe Burrow won. Like, beat him.
That's a stiff opinion. I don't know. That'd have to be its own show, Kylan. I don't even want to unpack that one.
This is what I'm. Anyway, I'm only making this comparison for one reason. Obviously, Josh Allen is way better than Bryce Young. But the only reason I'm making this way
better.
The only reason I'm making this comparison is because it's the same thing where they both have to do something that they can't do, which is throw to themselves because they have nothing to throw to. So that's the only reason I'm making that comparison. Mm-hmm. But the Panthers are a piss poor organization. They just need to fire everybody and somebody.
Not everybody, but yeah.
Most of their executive needs to be fired.
Who are buying, everybody who's at the store buying ingredients, y'all are fired. But that doesn't mean the cooks have to get fired or the wait staff.
Right.
But the people who are buying these piss poor ingredients, y'all buying, expired bread and stuff like that, y'all gotta go.
Right. Like, I am of the mindset that they need a new owner. I don't know who it's going to be. Somebody needs to buy the Panthers and save them from themselves, from David Tepper. That's where I'm at with it. Bad Panthers. There's nothing other than the fact that Bryce needs to be in a more stable situation. Maybe he should have stayed in college. I think you and I know I had this argument with somebody. I always thought he should have stayed one more year in college just to, like, get better. But I understand because NIL wasn't as big of a thing as it is now. That's right? Wasn't he the last class that didn't get NIL? Am I right in that?
I don't know. I'll have to fact check that.
Yeah,
I don't want to.
Yeah, I think he was like in between that sandwich class that, like, got it but didn't get it as much as the following class. But moving right along to the other story while Matt fact checks me on that. Tua Tagovailoa suffers another concussion. Here we are yet again, not making light of it, but yet again, here we are. It's only the second or third week of the season, and the Dolphins don't have Tua Tagovailoa because, unfortunately, he got his head banged in and got a concussion. And I'm being totally fair. I'm not trying to make him. I'm not trying to make
It's
light of it
yeah.
because it really does suck to have back-to-back concussions within 2 years of each other. I hope and pray that he is good, and that for me, I think he needs to start thinking about like his life after football, because when you get back-to-back concussions, I think you either need to change your style of play or retire. But I'm of the mindset. My reaction to this is it sucks for him. I like Tua Tagovailoa. I've liked him since he was in college. I think he's a great player, a great moral model, somebody who, if I was a football player, I'd probably go to war for. But I just think again that he just needs to he just needs to reevaluate his life, like his football life, not his actual life. And once he figures that out, like he just needs to learn how to slide, learns how to throw the ball away, learn that sometimes it's better to fight to the next play and not like go for it all. And that's kind of easy for me to say. I don't have 6'8" monsters who can run a 4.9 chasing me down. That's easy for me to say because I don't get my head knocked on the ground like for what is it, for 60 minutes. So it's definitely easy for me in Philadelphia in my room to say that. But Tua Tagovailoa, I think he's a great player, but I think he needs to change the way he plays because I don't want to see him be another CTE case, be another case of why people shouldn't play football. I think he's a great player who needs to reevaluate how he plays and learn how to that people are trying to, not that they're trying to do it intentionally, but people will knock you out if you're not careful, and he either needs to learn how to slide or play to the next play. Because I like Tua, and I think that without Tua, the Dolphins, obviously this is obvious, but some people don't agree. The Dolphins are going to do this without Tua Tagovailoa. So, Matt?
Well, so I'll work backwards. I'll just start with the thing that I disagree because there was a lot of there's a lot I agreed with what you said, but I do think that Tua is a bottom half of the league quarterback. I do think that the Dolphins can replace the quality of quarterback play that they get from Tua.
Okay.
I think Mike McDaniels is a much better play caller than he gets credit for because Tua is limited as a passer.
Okay.
But that's unfortunate because I do feel bad for Tua in this situation. I think it's time for him to hang it up. It's like you said, it's easy for us to say in the comfort of our own homes and not losing all that money and not losing the opportunity to prove ourselves. Because to me, like I just said a second ago, I don't think Tua does have, if we're just talking about quality of quarterbacks, I mean, he's nowhere near the top. He's nowhere near a Pro Bowler to me. And so, but it does stink. And unfortunate thing is that there's one speed, I believe, to play contact professional football. There's one speed, and you can try to avoid hits and try to this and that, but that brain is going to get rocked. You are going to get hit. You're going to get jolted forward to the side. You're going to take a hit when you don't even expect it. You're going to get blindsided. You're going to slide, and a guy clipped the side of your helmet. And last time, once again, we see the hands crimp up on him. As soon as he gets hit in the head, the hands crimp up. And I just want to be on the record. Like when we talk about these things, and I don't want to play or be fast and loose with his money, but I just want to be on the record because, when we're talking about this, there will be, if this man gets back on the field, there will be a record of what people were saying. And I don't want to, like I said, play fast and loose with his money, but we keep playing around and encouraging and thinking that it's okay that he keeps getting back out here on the field, and we will watch a man die on the field, and so I think it's really dangerous what's going on. I think it really is not, him continuing to be, he goes out there in 2 weeks. We're teaching the next generation of kids the exact wrong thing. I mean, he continues. I mean, he's already lied about concussions. And so, I mean, and it's unfortunate because it grades against the competitive nature of what it is to be a premier athlete or competitor at anything. You always feel like you can overcome and you're not done yet, and I still got more to prove. But we also don't want people to turn into to vegetables, and so
Yeah. Well,
I just want to be on the record. If it was up to me, which it's not, I would Tua would be hanging it up.
yeah, I mean that's why I said like to me, I think I'm with you, right? I think I don't want him dying on the field. I want him to think. I know he's married. I want him to think about his post football life. And again, it's easy for me to say I don't have hundreds of millions of dollars
Right.
plus endorsement
Exactly.
money, or
Yeah.
a wife or a
Mhm.
kid or whatever coming into this world. So it's easy for me to say. And both of us are not Samoan. That's a whole
Yeah.
different thing. He's also Samoan. So it's a whole. I'm not saying that to be derogatory of that, but some of y'all who know Samoans, you know that they are very, very tough, very strong-willed. So it's going to take a lot. To me, like I said, I think I was pro him the last time this happened. I think I was a little cautious with this and said like if the doctors he gets cleared and they feel he's ready, then he should be out there. But after a second one, I just think he needs to think about his future besides football, right? Some people like Tony Romo is a great quarterback who's a good broadcaster. He annoys me and I watch him on mute. But I think that some quarterbacks, some players just they're not here, they're not here for a long time. The NFL stands for not for long. So Tua, just really think about this. You got a wife, you might have some kids. I don't know because I don't know your family and stuff. But
You have people that care about you.
yeah. Yeah, I believe that you are married. You probably are planning to have kids eventually if you don't have one already. Like, just think about this is why I say this. Think about football is only for a short time, right? You're gonna have to be
Regardless, even
yeah,
if it goes great, it's
yeah,
still temporary.
yeah. You're gonna be you need to like the NFL stands for not for long. So like the people that love you, and you just need to look in the mirror, man. You just got a second concussion, a third concussion. Not that you will get one, but a third concussion might be the end, man. So if I were you, I would just really think about this. Take a while, man. Andrew Luck is the blueprint for this. Like it's not just because he went to Stanford, but he looked around and said, "Yeah, I'm tired of this," and I fully respect him for hanging it up. Like there's no shame in hanging it up, bro. Like none. Again,
And Andrew Luck was a lot better than Tua.
and again, like I'm not making any comparisons. I'm just saying that Andrew Luck was the blueprint for this. He woke up and said
No,
he was
yeah.
tired of it, and now I think he's a big time. He doesn't have to work, but I think he's doing. I think he left Stanford with an engineering degree, and I believe he's doing some engineering stuff now. So this is why you get your degrees. You can do other things to it. You can go into broadcasting. You can. I don't even know if you got the personality for that, but you can do other things. Just really think about it. I think personally you should hang it up. It's just I want to be on record too because I think I may have said that he might need to hang it up. But like I said, he just needs to look in the mirror. That's it. Just look in the mirror and just think about what you want. I know that you're a religious man. Pray about it, reflect on it, talk to your spiritual people because I think a back-to-back concussion is a warning of something. I'm not saying that you're doing anything wrong
People
spiritually, but I just think it's a warning of something. Like,
people are playing for mortgages, Tua. If anybody passes this along, or anybody who has played football and right now is talking about concussions and things like that, the hits are coming. These are professional football players. People are playing for mortgages and their future and student loan debt repayment. And so they're coming to knock your damn head off if they can. And they're not trying to do anything illegal or wrong or unsportsmanlike, but you're tempting fate. At a certain point here, you're tempting fate. So okay.
yeah. So moving right along, we kind of teased this. What should the Dolphins do at backup QB? So I think they need to call the Eagles, the Steelers. I think they need to call any
They
team with
got
like
Huntley.
a serviceable backup. And I love Huntley, but I think
I like
that
Huntley.
they need to call the Panthers and try and get Bryce Young. I think that they need to think about the future. I think that you don't want to be caught. I'm not saying that Tua is going to retire, like because I don't know. I'm not God. I have no
Right.
idea what's going to happen. But I just think you don't want to end up like the Colts and not have a plan. So I think because of that, you need to see about Bryce Young. Obviously, Russell Wilson isn't playing, so the Steelers aren't likely to want to deal Justin Fields yet. But you might just need to see Bryce. You might just need to see, hey Panthers, hey Eagles, like y'all want to deal Kenny Pickett and or Bryce Young, like who can we get? Like call, bringing up somebody who's sitting on the bench right now, basically about to collect another ring. Maybe call the Chiefs about Carson Wentz. Y'all never thought I'd
Hell
bring that back.
no.
I'm just saying right now they need a
Hell
serviceable quarterback,
no.
and I'm just saying
Hell
you got three
no.
options. You got Kenny Pickett,
No, he's not an
you got
option.
Bryce
He's
Young, and you
garbage.
got Carson Wentz.
Garbage.
I know you think he's garbage. I'm just saying that
No, he
you
is
gotta call.
garbage. The NFL, the people who cut the check said he's garbage.
Okay, all
Kylan.
right. But look, I'm just saying you gotta call somebody. So it might as well
No,
be
you brought Tyler Huntley in. He's a man who's won NFL football games.
he has.
If you want to go and get Bryce Young, then do that and put him on the bench. Not to bench him, but it's gonna at least take him 3, 4, or 5 weeks to get
Yeah.
acclimated, and get to know where the lunchroom is and stuff, and who the receivers are and things like that. And so I think Huntley can. What are they going to do? I mean, once you lose your starting quarterback, this isn't a team that's going to be a Super Bowl aspirations. And shoot, if the Eagles could have Tyler Huntley or Kenny Pickett, I'm taking Tyler Huntley.
Right, but I'm
Be honest.
just saying like though the Pickett and Young aren't doing anything right now because obviously Jalen Hurts is injured and Bryce Young is on the bench, so they're both on the bench. So I'm just saying they're the two gettable of the two if Huntley doesn't work out. And Malik Willis is looking good. Maybe you try and see if they want Malik Willis. I mean, I'm just throwing out quarterbacks because I like Tyler Huntley, but I don't know if he can get the Dolphins where they want to be. Tyler Huntley.
Nobody's getting them where they want to be. Tua's not getting the Dolphins where they want
Well,
to
look,
be.
I think we all agree that God mode. As long, unfortunately for the AFC, they've got football Michael Jordan in their division, and nobody's getting to a Super Bowl over Patrick Mahomes in the next 5 to 10 years. So
Exactly.
I'm of that mindset as well. But I
Yeah.
just think that you need to at least have a chance. I mean, there haven't been that many quarterbacks besides the one in Philadelphia who have outgunned God, but he's done it. So and Joe Burrow, there's only two quarterbacks that have outgunned him, and only one of them has beat him, and that was Joe Burrow. So yeah, I'm just saying. But yeah, see about Kenny Pickett and Bryce. Obviously, I know you think Carson Wentz is a non-starter if you were the Dolphins GM, but they need to do something. So going on to TNF.
Fast forward, and he will not have narrator. Carson Wentz turned out to not be an option for any sane football team.
Well, I mean, Nick Foles is available. Maybe see Nick Foles.
He's not available. He retired.
Look,
No
man. He finally did what I said he should have did after they won the
Yes.
Super Bowl. Should have pulled the Trent Dilfer and retired. That's what I said. That remembers me saying it. But anyway, New York Jets destroy the New York Patriots, the New England Patriots. So my reaction to this is good for Q Iran. Finally got a good start against a team that the Jets should beat. I like Gerard
The
Mayo.
Patriots are garbage. What are we
Patriots,
talking about?
Yeah, the Patriots at this point are
They're
garbage.
hot garbage.
And
Come
I know
on.
that there are Patriots fans that watch this podcast. I'm not being disrespectful. Y'all are. Y'all know it's the truth. Y'all in rebuild mode, heavy.
Heavy.
Just trade Hunter Henry now. Y'all don't really have anything going for y'all. And trade Ramondre Stevenson. At this point, just go full rebuild. I know Robert Kraft doesn't want to do that, but at this point, you're losing the Q Iran in 2024. What are we doing here?
No, they gotta build some. They gotta, I disagree. Largely agree that they're absolute garbage, but I think you gotta take your lumps this year if you're them in year one of Gerard Mayo. I think you got to try to keep a couple of these pieces and try to keep being a feisty little team. Find out the players that are worth keeping for next season and do the rebuild in the offseason. I mean, it's a team that's going to win 4 games, but 4 and 13. and
That'll
you
put them
just
in our. That'll put them in the Shador Sanders Sweet States. Here's one. Do you think if they select Shador that Dion becomes an OC or something with the Patriots?
uh
But
to be
somebody's
honest
got to
with
get
you,
Shador.
if I have to, you put me on the spot. You didn't tell me you were gonna ask me a Dion question,
I
so I
I
gotta
did
just give it
I
to
did
people straight.
I did not. I did not. That was just
I'm
something
gonna
that
go.
just came in
No,
my head.
I'll give it to you. I'm
Yeah.
just gonna shoot straight. Dion needs to stay in Colorado. He needs to make this thing right. That team is not a good team. He is not. He got some skill positions. He got the really good Travis Hunter. You got Shador. You know, and his other son Shallow. Good players, but I think that the offensive defensive line, he needs to prove that I think he's more of head coaching material instead of offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator type of guy,
Okay.
if you ask me. And I think he needs to make it right in college football first. I
Yeah. And
think it would be seen as a fail up. A lot of people would be pissed off about it. I mean,
yeah. And just to be fair to you and everybody else, I didn't know I was going to ask that question until I just thought about Shador Sanders. So just to be
that's
clear,
cool.
I
That's
didn't know I
cool.
was.
No, it's all good. It's all
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, but like at this point, right? This is the all of y'all who know, right? Obviously, Matt or I have no connection to Deion Sanders. Maybe he does, and he never told me this. But I have no connection to Deion Sanders, so I don't know. I know he says that Shador would never leave anytime soon, but I think Shador is going to leave this year. I'm just of the mindset that we're in the Shador Sanders, Travis Hunter sweepstakes as the top two picks this year, or I'm sorry, next year. So I'm of the mindset that whichever team is probably going to end up being the Panthers. Somebody's going to select Shador Sanders number one and number two. That's the top two picks: Travis Hunter and Shador Sanders this year.
Well,
Travis
Dion already said that his son to do the Eli Manning. He said that, right?
I had no idea he said that.
Yeah, he did. He said,
Okay.
"Don't play with me." Is basically y'all should look it up. Yeah.
So I am of the mindset that I think it would be acceptable to Dion if they obviously they just got a quarterback, but I mean the Patriots, you can't turn down Travis or Shador if you're since you're saying they're only gonna I think we're both in agreement that they're only gonna win like 3 or 4 games this year. So that puts them in prime number one, number two pick territory. So and I think that both of those players, they're not Patriots. They're not your typical Patriots blueprint players, but
But it's a new
yeah, it's
it's
a
a
new
new regime.
regime under Gerard
Uh,
Mayo. So, but
Yep.
I'm not. Let me just be clear and be fair. I'm not saying that just because I just said trade all the good pieces that means Gerard Mayo should be fired. I just
Oh,
I
no, no,
all,
no. I
yeah,
know. I
all
Yeah.
yeah all I'm saying is that Gerard Mayo. I hope got a Brett Brown contract where he's guaranteed
Yes,
so that no
absolutely.
one
And he
fires him.
should.
Yeah,
And he
yeah,
should.
yeah.
That's the
So
only way. That's the only way you take this job, because there's no way you say that we're going to turn this thing around and get the damn Patriots to the playoffs. I mean, this team is not built for that.
right, not yet. Anyway, so moving right along to our Eagles. Unfortunately for them, the Philadelphia Eagles fall to the Atlanta Falcons. Two. What is it? 2-7 over their last 9 games. They had a lead in all of them. Matt, what was your reaction to seeing them lose like that again? Well, it wasn't like what happened against the Seahawks. A little bit different this time, but or it might have been reminiscent, depending on how all of y'all feel that are watching this either now or later So, what do you think, Matt?
Ah, well, we don't have all night. I can go all night on, my thoughts on the game, but I think my top line thoughts on the game is that the defensive line has been very, very disappointing. They're not getting a pass rush. This team is built, and they build and allocate their resources to have a front four that can get to the quarterback and bring him down without having to send extra guys, so that you can keep the big play from happening. And what's happening right now, to be honest, if I'm just being honest about it, is this team can't get pressure without blitzing, and that's a real problem. I know that the until that last drive, the Falcons had only put up 15 points, but that's a largely um, a result of Kirk Cousins just flat out missing guys, whether it's not seeing that guys came open or getting open, or just flat out missing the throw. I think that was more about Kirk until that last drive. I think the other top line I would say is I really strongly disagree with Nick Sirianni. I think the decision to kick the field goal up 15-18, to kick the field goal to go up 6, I think that's a terrible football decision. I think you go for it there on 4th and 3. If you don't get it, you pin them down there near the 10, and they get the ball back, and they're going to be conservative. And I mean, they're not going to be trying to press the advantage or press the issue to try to score if they can send it to overtime with a field goal. But if you force them to have to score a touchdown, it was dumb. And then you kick it into the end zone. You start them at 30. Why not kick it to the guy and try to just trust your team to make the tackles? And so I think this one, all 3 levels of the team lost that game. You got Jalen Hurts at the end of the game because there's been a lot of talk about the game. And the second to last drive was Saquon Barkley dropping the pass. But Jalen and the team, we got the ball back, and Jalen forced a pass that ended up being intercepted. So you got a failure on the offensive end, failures throughout the game, too many penalties, sloppy play. You got the defense, just getting gashed on the ground, and then at the end through the air, and then you got coaching failures from I believe Sirianni. Now Sirianni's largely been accountable as a coach and been honest about if he thinks he makes a mistake, he doesn't think he made a mistake there, and I'm standing 10 toes down. I think it was a bad football call to not try to go for it there on 4th and 3. I get that Saquon's going to drop that happens. You can, and Steph's going to miss that 3 that, oh my God, how did he miss that one? That happens. Fine. But you still got to go for it there, especially with this team.
Yeah, I'm on the mindset that I agree with everything you said. I think that they lost that game though. And this is not me blaming either one of these players, but I think that if Devontae Smith catches that second touchdown, he's not loose with the football and gets the ball jerked out by, I think it was AJ Terrell.
Yep.
That they scored, that puts them up 6. If I think that he lost, I know you brought up the fourth and 3 in the fourth quarter. I was in church during this because we were having a revival essentially, so I missed the first this past week, so I missed the first quarter of the game. So I had no idea that they didn't go for the field goal on the first drive until halftime when I saw it. And I was like, that's weird. Why didn't he go for it? It's the first quarter. It's not the fourth quarter. And look, man, this is the problem with the Doug Peterson / Andy Reid tree. I've said this before, how Andy Reid breeds a lot of stubborn coaches who don't change their ways.
Mm-hmm.
And Nick Sirianni is from that tree and the Doug Peterson side of it.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes this happened with Doug Peterson. Sometimes Big Balls Doug should have kept his balls in his pants for a little bit instead of going for it right away. So I just think he should have gone for the field goal. If he goes for the field goal and Devontae Smith catches that football, then we don't have to worry about Saquon Barkley dropping the ball. That was Saquon's fault. He was accountable for it. Kellen Moore did a great job of making that scheme and putting him in the right position. But I think Jalen Hurts, obviously that interception was a no-go. But I just think that he kept them in the game. He showed that he's back somewhat. But I just think that you hit the nail on the head. Bryce Huff gets all that money and isn't given. Obviously, he's still learning the Eagle system. But they might as well give you and I.
Forget a system. You play the most complicated position in sports.
Right.
Run forward, pass the guy in front of you. Tackle.
They should
just team at defensive end.
Yeah, they should just pay us what they're paying him for these next 3 to 4 years, because I am of the mindset that Brandon Graham, even though it got taken away on the penalty, if Milton Williams is your best is your best pass rusher, and you're paying Josh Sweat,
You're in
Bryce
trouble.
Huff, Brandon Graham for one more year, all that money, and Milton Williams and Brandon Graham, all due
Graham
respect to
or
me,
your
Graham. I've met him in person. He's a
right.
great guy. But
Absolutely.
if Milton Williams and Brandon Graham are your best two pass rushers, then they
You're
might
in
as well just
trouble.
send you and me out there because
Yes.
they just
Yes.
need to start blitzing. And you notice I didn't mention Darius Slay. Like, he went for it on that double move. It shouldn't have been like that. I don't know why he was looking at Kirk Cousins, but that game was lost way before that. Devontae Smith,
Yes.
when he dropped that ball.
Mm-hmm.
Nick Sirianni starting to domino early by not taking the points. You always take the points in the first quarter. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and Matt knows there are times when I'm with Nick Sirianni. I'm all, yeah, go for it. Who cares? Like, you pet him at the 5-yard line, whatever, go for it. But like, in that case, in the first quarter, like, take the points, dog. Like, take the points. That's like going for a 2-point conversion in the first quarter. The only way I think that's acceptable is if you have a bad kicker. And the Eagles don't have a bad kicker. They have Josh freaking Elliott, who up until
Jake. Jake Elliott. Yeah.
Jake Elliott. Sorry, not Josh.
Yeah.
My bad.
Respect that man.
Jake Elliott, who up until today, when the Temple kicker made a 64-yard field goal. Did you see that? Did you see that video, by the way, of him making like a 66-yard field goal?
I didn't see that. I missed that.
And Lincoln Financial, like, he broke Jake Elliott's record. Like, up until that point, the 63-yarder, now Jake Elliott, he's got to take his respect back, man. He's got to come in there and hit the 68-yard field goal now. but I am of the mindset that, the Eagles lost that game way before Saquon dropped the ball. Pass rush, obviously. Devontae Smith has to get used to being the main player now because he's the main player until A.J. Brown comes back. So, got to be stronger with the ball, Smitty. I love you, but you got to be small. You got to be stronger with the football, man. You got to do the Tony Gonzalez, Antonio Gates. You say you're a Celtics fan, like, you got to do the box out, bro. I know you're not as big or as tall as them, but you got to do the box out, bro. Like, when you catch that ball, like Jalen puts it on your chest, hold that jaw, man. Make it so they have to German suplex you to get that football out your hand, like, But that's just where I'm at with it. To move on to the next question, which I will start. Are the Eagles in trouble? Or are we overreacting to an early season loss? Now, Matt knows that I am, of the two of us, he's way more positive about the Eagles than I usually am when it comes to losses. Even though I write the articles, and y'all know I'm pretty like go Eagles all the time. But I just think a lot of people are overreacting. I know that they're 2-7. I know that they had leads in all the games. I know that there's been dumb penalties. Obviously, that ineligible man downfield screwed the Eagles a couple of times. But I'm of the mindset that it's better, as my dad said when this game happened, it's better to lose early than to lose late. And I think the Eagles have some things to fix. Obviously, new coordinators, new players, they need time. I'm not saying anybody's doomed, but the Eagles are doomed like some people are. They're going to lose to the Saints and then lose to the next team and then have to beat the Browns to have a semi-good record going into the bye week. I think they win. They always lose games that they're not supposed to lose and win games that everybody thinks they're not supposed to win. So to me, I think that the Eagles are not in trouble. I think they have some things to fix. The penalties specifically, I don't really know how you fix the defensive line besides Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis. Having a
Playing
monster
better.
game, playing better and having a monster game tomorrow. But we will see what happens with that. But I'm of the mindset that the Eagles, that this is just one loss. If they lose tomorrow, then I'll say something else the next time we have this podcast. But, I'm of the mindset that this is just an early season loss and that I think a lot of people are overreacting, even though, like, Jalen Hurts was a little bit loose with the football. But for the most part, he played well. And so did Saquon Barkley until the drops. I don't think that those two were the reasons they lost that game. Like I said, and I agree with what Matt said, Nick Sirianni and coaching and the coordinators kind of cost them that game. I don't know why Vic Fangio was playing prevent defense, which basically opened up the sideline for Kirk O'Chains when they had nothing else going on besides Bijan Robinson, who should be an Eagle right now, right? So there's an alternate universe where Bijan Robinson is an Eagle. I am so happy because
Instead of Jalen Carter.
yeah, because Matt knows I was pumping that train. He was one of the people that was saying Jalen Carter. I was saying Bijan, Bijan, Bijan. You remember those texts? Because
Hmm.
I was just so. I think that when you have a franchise running back, you take that franchise running back. I know that my style of offensive thinking is out in the NFL right now, but but I just think it's an overreaction. But I will change my mind if they lose tomorrow.
I think it's Eagles fans purchasing misery insurance because people don't want to have to break glass if the Eagles lose tomorrow, lose to the Saints. If they lose to the Saints, it will be panic time. They will be 1-2 heading down to Tampa Bay, where they have recently been getting their asses kicked. And we don't know when AJ Brown is going to be back. It is worrisome that this offense does not look above average when AJ Brown's not out there. It's a lot of AJ Brown or bust. And so we need to see a lot better play uh, from this offense, and especially Dallas Goedert in particular. I've been calling him out all week, and I'm gonna call him out here. We need to. I need a touchdown. If you're not going to score a touchdown, I need 6, 7 catches for 80 yards or something. I am sick of the 4 catches for 41 yards stuff, 4 catches for 36 yards stuff from Dallas Goedert. I mean, it's not doing anything for me.
That's Matt saying, "Man up, Dallas." I'm right there with him. Like Dallas got it as a security blanket. I don't know if it's Kellen Moore or that they're just triple teaming him. I really don't know what it is, but I'm with you that Dallas Goedert needs to get up there, man. He's the man that they need to get another tight end. Like, and I like Dallas Goedert. So Dallas Goedert, I agree with Matt. You gotta get up there, man. But speaking of
Mhm.
those New Orleans Saints, before as we get ready to end our NFL talk for real in these next couple of topics. But the Dallas Cowboys falls to the Saints. The Eagles fans, a lot of us were very happy seeing that blowout. In Jerry World, how the Cowboys just fell to the Saints. And my reaction to this is I think it was more like the Saints were dominant against the Cowboys. Don't get me wrong, Saints fans, but I just think this was more bad Cowboys than good Saints. I think Derek Carr is a serviceable quarterback, but I think that the Saints are playing. You always get teams like this. They start out hot and then they fall off. Um, I think the Saints are playing great. They have a new offense with Kubiak, and it's looking great. But I just don't think that there's going to be a lot more Alvin Kamara 5 touchdown games. I just think that if you're a Kamara fantasy owner, you've been happy these last few weeks. But I think that that's what it was. It was good Derek Carr and really, really good Alvin Kamara. And that's not really what you see with Dallas. Like Dallas, if the one thing that the Cowboys do, they stop the run, and like they just couldn't last week. And I just think that Alvin Kamara, if Alvin Kamara is back to his old self, then there's no way the Eagles are beating them tomorrow. But I just think that this is a small sample size, and I just need to see it against the Eagles. But I think that this was more bad Cowboys than good Saints.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think the
I
Saints are looking
absolutely
good.
agree. It's bad Cowboys, and if the Eagles lose to the Saints, then it's going to be bad Eagles. The
Yeah.
Saints are a fine team. They are a good team. In fact, they are a good team. But you weigh these two teams, and the Eagles are just a better team. So they go in there and they lose tomorrow. Sure, even if they get blown out like the Cowboys, I'm still not going to say the Saints are a better team than them. And the Cowboys just doing cowboy things. They just smelling themselves after week one, ready to roll. People got paid. And so they took a couple days off and weren't taking the Saints seriously. I think that I think it's definitely more about the Cowboys, and it'll be more about the Eagles tomorrow. We're gonna find
Yeah,
out more about the Eagles than we will about the Saints. Saints go to 3-0. I'm still not thinking the Saints are about to go to the NFC Championship.
me
Sorry.
either. Me either. And that's like like I said, Matt remembers me saying this because I said this in a text chain. I think that if the Eagles, I said this, I think that if the Eagles and the 49ers fell off, which it seems like this is what is happening early in the season, that the Saints or somebody would be right there, right for the picking to be a number one team. Let me just say, with all due respect to the Saints, if they do go 3-0 tomorrow. but a fraudulent number one team in the NFC.
Absolutely.
That's just because the
They would be
Eagles and the
major
Niners
fraud.
are doing this because they're injured and they played all the time. So we'll see. I'm not predicting anything. We'll get to that. But moving right along to, I know Morgan is mad she's missing this when she rewatches this, but I'll give Morgan her chance to
Travesty.
give Eli her flowers, his flowers tomorrow. Or I'm
He
sorry,
already got his flowers.
next time we get the thing. But
He got his flowers. He
yeah,
got the 2 Super Bowl rings, and he
now
got
the
the.
Hall of
Oh, go
Fame.
ahead.
Yeah.
No, well, go ahead. Go ahead.
Eli Manning, for those of you that don't know, you've been living under the rock. Eli Manning has been nominated for the Hall of Fame for this upcoming Hall of Fame class in 2025. I know a lot of y'all didn't realize he was up for it. I thought that was like a year or two away, but yeah, they're nominating him for the Hall of Fame. And all I have to say is congratulations, as Matt said, 2 Super Bowl rings. One of those more lucky than the other, but you got them. And I am of the mindset that Eli was a great quarterback. He was one of, he's one of 2 teams, both in the NFC East, to say they beat the Patriots and got a Super Bowl ring off them.
But do you think he's a Hall of D? If he does, he make your Hall of Fame? If you run the Hall of Fame,
No, he doesn't make my Hall of Fame, but that's just because, he's a victim of the fact that Drew Brees was great, Donovan McNabb was great. There were a lot of great quarterbacks. He was just serviceable / okay to me. But to be fair to him, he did good with what he had. He won his Super Bowls, and he is a Hall of Fame quarterback to the NFL media members who have that. I don't have that. I don't think you do.
It was inevitable, but a lot of people,
inevitable.
once you do this, and this is what I'll say, and Morgan, I can't wait till you get on, because I know as a Giants fan, you had to salute, and a lot of people will disagree with my take. I called this years ago when I first started doing Philly sports podcast, and it's a great topic. It's true. It was inevitable that this was going to happen, that Eli Manning was going to make the Hall of Fame, and it's going to break the NFL Hall of Fame quarterback rankings. There are going to be so many quarterbacks who are way better than Eli Manning, who, yes, he got 2 Super Bowl rings, but was a largely mediocre NFL quarterback. And so you win what basically with this BS, in my opinion. I think he should have been kept out, because basically now the rules are you have a perennial Pro Bowl resume, right? Like a Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson, I think, is already near a Hall of Fame lock, but let's take Lamar Jackson down 2 pegs. You are every year Pro Bowl quarterback. You win 1 Super Bowl. Just win 1 Super Bowl and get one Super Bowl MVP. You're a lock Hall of Famer then. And I just don't think that that's how the Hall was designed. Like, yes, I don't think he's a Hall of Fame quarterback, but I always knew that this was going to happen.
Right. I think we all agree. I don't know if I thought he would get in before his. Well, is Peyton in yet? Peyton's in, right?
I believe Peyton is in. Peyton retired before, so.
Yeah. If Peyton, I just didn't think, like, of the 3, and I don't know. This is my error. Let me check and see if I don't even think is Ben's not in yet, right? Ben Roethlisberger. When Ben gets
there's
in,
probably going to be complications for Ben.
Yeah, there definitely will be complications for Ben, but I think I think he'll be I don't think he'll get I don't think he'll be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Let me just say it like that. Yeah, he got in 2021
because of complications. Because he has 2 rings though too.
Yeah,
so like rings. he's a lot. Ben's a way better.
Yeah, I was just about to say just so the Steelers fans don't yell at us. Obviously, Ben Roethlisberger was obviously a way better quarterback than Eli Manning.
He from a football perspective, and he's not a guy that I think I would want my son to grow up and be like. But in terms of football,
making excuses for the Eagles. You see this comment?
What excuses? What excuses am I making? The fact that we. Eli Manning's ass, like what? Like look at the record, people,
against to this guy. he's a Cowboys fan. He goes to my church, so he said we're making excuses for the Eagles. So
Wicked excuse.
shouts out to Mr. Kareem.
Oh,
He's a
great!
great,
Thank
great
you for
guy.
watching. But I don't think I'm making
Great guy.
any excuses for the Eagles. And if you listen back, we actually were cooking the Eagles because they failed and lost the game
We were.
in every phase.
We were. We were. But yeah, to your point, I think Ben Roethlisberger. Not. I'm sorry. I think that Eli Manning. Obviously, I think that there are a lot better quarterbacks currently and formerly that should be in the Hall of Fame. But obviously, he is going to make it to the Hall of Fame, or he is about to make it. Before Ben Roethlisberger. Um, no, Ben Roethlisberger was 20. Was Ben Roethlisberger 2017? What? Let me. We gotta check this. We got some fact checking to do. But anyway, Eli Manning deserves to be called. Is in the Hall of Fame. Shouts out to brother Kareem. Thank you so much for commenting. Let us know. You can.
He won't be eligible until 2027. They're saying.
Okay, Ben Roethlisberger. All right.
Ben's not eligible until 2027.
Okay, cool. So I don't think. So I think Eli. To sum this up on my point, right? I think Eli Manning, even though I don't personally think he's a Hall of Fame quarterback, I don't know. The one thing I don't agree with, I don't think he should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer. I think he could have been like second or third. But again, I'm an Eagles fan, but I'm being objective here. He was great for what he was. He didn't have the numbers of other quarterbacks in his class, like the Phillip Rivers of the world, the Ben Roethlisbergers, the Tom Brady's, to a lesser extent, the Peyton Mannings, even though that was they didn't really overlap much. So I am of the mindset, I'm with you, Matt, but Terry Bradshaw's in there, and I don't think anybody thinks that Terry Bradshaw's like a top 10 QB either all time. So, but he's got the rings
That's
and everything.
Different back then.
So
That's different.
it,
Those
it,
early
it is different. So just to be fair, but y'all, we're gonna give Morgan a chance to reply to this because I know that she's somewhere right now, probably gonna look back at this and be mad at us. But
I look forward to hearing
her quarterback. Because I can hear the Giants fans now. You can't spell elite without Eli because I've heard that from them before. So there's a couple of Giants fans who I know are gonna listen to this and be mad. I'm gonna hear from them later about it. So. So I'm
outside of those two, you can't spell Eli without L either.
Moving right along. I love that. I need to use that. What's wrong with the Baltimore Ravens? 0-2. Matt, you're close to this being in the DMV. What's wrong with the Ravens, man?
I think that I called this early in the offseason. It was one of the major things. I had Mark Schofield on from SB Nation on the Honorable Mention podcast, and I called it out. I mean, I think for this team to be who it needs to be, they need to be able to play smash mouth football, like the type of Eagles football, like where you're running for 200 yards. The other team can know you're running and you just come right at them with the inside zone, wham blocks, 26 duo all day. And right now they don't have the offensive line to be able to do that. And I hate ripping guys, to be honest. I mean, sometimes it's pretty funny, but to be honest, I just don't think that these guys are capable of doing that. They're going to need to make some moves to really solidify this line and take this team to the level, because their defense, the standard their defense was playing to last year was also unsustainable. You can't expect your defense to only be giving up 15, 16 points, and then still be a Super Bowl. They're not going to be able to keep that standard going. So you got to keep the defense off the field somewhat, and you make a major investment in Derrick Henry for that reason, to be able to play that kind of smash mouth football. Now Zay Flowers has been playing out of his mind, and he will continue to get better and better with the run after the catch, and all of those things. And so from that perspective, I think he's getting better skill position options. He just needs the trenches to step up, and that being especially the inside offensive lineman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I agree that I think that A lot of it is not bad. Lamar is bad. Everything else. I'm of the mindset that some people said last week that he could have ran it in. Uh, I'm sorry, he just replied. um, thank brother Kareem for his continue. He said, "Cowboys fans don't make excuses. Yeah, we'll take our loss. All right. I'll give it to him. Cowboys fans were, at least the ones that I knew, him included, were very quiet about their blowout loss last week. Just to go back to that, I said it was more bad Cowboys than good Saints. I just think I expect the Cowboys to be better on the defensive end. But they lost to the Saints. I just think that the Saints are good, but they're not number one team in the NFL in the NFC good. Um, but I'll give him that. Most Cowboys fans that I know, I can't speak for Matt, were relatively quiet after they got destroyed last week. But I think we both agree that it was more bad Cowboys than good Saints. With all due respect to Alvin Kamara's 5-touchdown game, it was more bad Cowboys than
Absolutely.
good Saints. But as far as the Ravens, I feel like what Matt said is correct. I think that your defense can't just be Kyle Hamilton and insert other person do good here, right? And I just think that Roquan Smith. Let me not be disrespectful. Roquan Smith is a guy too, but I just think that that the Ravens offense has to be better. You've got an offense that kind of like what's going on with the Chiefs. You got an offense that needs to score at least 30 plus points a game. And I just don't know if the Ravens are capable of doing that anymore. And I just think that, the Ravens are a better team when Lamar is out here running and scoring one or two touchdowns with his legs and stuff than they are when he's like sitting back in the pocket. I think that and I think they do have one now in Greg Monken, but I just think that they need an OC who can maximize Lamar, right? I think that this team goes as far as Lamar will take them. And so I think what's wrong with the Ravens is their defense just isn't dominant anymore. And we have to now, we are living in a world where the Ravens don't have a dominant defense. They need to have a dominant offense. And Lamar Jackson, I think he's great. I have said this, Lamar Jackson is one of my top 3 QBs. I think that, Lamar just has to be really, really good. And I just think that that's what it is. Lamar and the Ravens offense has to be dominant for them to win more games. So we'll move right along. The most intriguing NFL matchups of Week 3. So Eagles Saints. I wouldn't have said this if they didn't just beat the Eagles, but I think Chiefs Falcons. I think I want to see if the Chiefs, because the Chiefs have been winning kind of ugly lately. I want to see if the Chiefs got a dominant game in them. So I think Chiefs, Falcons, Eagles, Saints, obviously.
Ravens, Cowboys. We just the last 2 teams we've been talking about.
Ravens,
Cowboys.
The battle to see who's got the dominant defense. I obviously here's as far as that goes. Here's how I break that down. The Cowboys have the better defense. I know that's blasphemy to a lot of people in Baltimore. The Cowboys have the better defense. The Ravens have the better offense. Which one of those things wins out? This 49 is it 49ers Rams, the walking wounded game, like 49ers Rams. That's going to be interesting to see. Can Brock Purdy do it without his weapons? Greg Kittle is showing up on the report too. So, I'm interested to see that, man. I think the 49ers are feeling what the Eagles felt. Like, this is what happens when you go to the Super Bowl, you get injured, man. So that's what those are my 3.
Rams about to cook them. Hot take. Rams about to cook them. Rams win by 10.
Okay. All right. They cooking us. All right. That's it. That's your most intriguing matchup.
Dallas Cowboys versus the Ravens. I also like the Chargers and the Steelers. I think that's going to be a close game. Okay. Chargers defense has been very good. Steelers defense as good as always. I think Justin Fields, this is the time that he fully earns the starting quarterback job for the Steelers and puts Russell Wilson kind of in the rear view, and maybe that'll solve the Dolphins' problems.
Okay. I totally agree with that. I don't know if I agree with the Rams are going to cook the Niners. I think even as a 49 as the regarded 49ers hater, I don't think I'll go that far, but I would be very happy if that happens because then I get to come on here and cook the 49ers and their fans. So y'all know I don't miss any 49ers
Get your
blasphemy.
popcorn ready. Sean McVay about to get the cooking.
Yeah. So 49ers fans, y'all can send the hate Matt's way because I didn't go that far. I just said that was going to
Keep
be
bringing it. I already got y'all attention. People commenting on my pictures and stuff on Instagram.
I all I said was the battle of the walking wounded. He went far and said y'all gonna lose by at least 10 points tomorrow. So
I said 10, not at least 10. Y'all gonna lose by 10. But when it's 34-24, don't be mad. Don't be mad at me. Be mad at your team. Y'all's lack of depth.
Oh,
Let's
man.
go.
All right. So we'll see, man. We'll see. We'll see who's right, who's wrong. I look, man, I'm not gonna make a prediction on that one. I think the 49ers pull it out narrowly, but I can't wait. Y'all know I don't miss any good 49ers slander. So Asia Wilson gets a rebound record on top of a point record. So is she not only the MVP but the best player in the W? And that's
Yes.
here. Oh, okay.
Yes.
We're in agreement then. Yeah, the Asia Wilson is the best player in the MVP. I know some of y'all want to say it's Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark is a great player, but she's not there yet. This is Asia Wilson's league. Everybody else is just breathing and lucky to live in it, right? So this is Asia Wilson's league. She's only 28, which is crazy because I thought she was younger than that. But she's at her prime now, and the prime years, as we've seen in the NBA and in the NFL, are your best years. So I think she's going to go God mode. I don't know if she'll end up with a back-to-back ring. But, I mean, if she's dropping 50 a game, I don't think many teams have anything for that. Matt?
I totally agree. I think Asia Wilson's on some GOAT-ish right now. I think if she's her, she is her.
Yep.
I don't know. You usually always take over on the he's not him. But I don't usually have those, but Asia Wilson is her.
Oh, no, Asia Wilson is her. I've said that for a while, so I'm right there in agreement with you. So we'll move right along then as we wrap this up. The WNBA playoffs, I mean, for those of you that don't know, the WNBA playoffs begin tomorrow. A lot of y'all will be too big in the football, but we have some good games. Fever, Connecticut Sun. We've got some great games tomorrow. So my playoff preview is I think that the Indiana Fever, great Caitlin Clark will do her best, and Kelsey Mitchell and Aaliyah Boston, but I just think that the Connecticut Sun will be too much. I think we're headed for a Connecticut Sun New York Liberty final, not a final to see who will play between the Aces and the Storm, who's going to play in the finals. But I'm of the mindset that the Connecticut Sun will be too much. New York Liberty, I think the Aces get there, the Lynx get there. I'm of the mindset that it might end up being the Aces and the Liberty again because I think the Aces, as long as if Asia Wilson decides to go God mode, like I just said, there aren't many teams in that bracket that can stop her.
I mean, yeah, it just always comes down to those kind of things. I think the WNBA, like we talk about things being cyclical, WNBA is where the NBA used to be more so in the 90s. Like it's about who's got the best player. Like if I got the best player, it's trump card. And that's just how we're rolling. I mean, Asia Wilson's gonna be there. I'll take the Aces.
Yeah, okay.
And then the guard. Oh gosh.
Chelsea?
No.
Chelsea? Jackie Young. You talking about on the Aces?
Yeah. Let me see.
Kate Martin? That who you talking about? Or are you talking about Caitlin's teammate, Kate Martin? We're talking about Jackie Young.
Maybe I'm not talking about Jackie Young. I'm talking about Asia Wilson's teammate.
Oh, Kelsey Plum?
Yes, Kelsey Plum. She's nice too.
Yeah, Kelsey Plum. Kelsey Plum's that girl. Kelsey Plum's that girl. And what's his name? Who's the former Giants tight end from the Raiders? He fumbled.
Darren Waller.
You fumbled that, bro. Like you fumbled that, bro. Just being objective here. Kelsey Plum, objectively, like a baddie, straight baddie. But we don't objectify women here. But I'm just saying, like, since we're on this topic, like, since we're here, let me just say, Kelsey Plum is, objectively fine, like on the court and off the court. Like, let me just say that I'm not trying to get chose, but
I'm leaving it alone. I'm leaving it
but,
alone, Kylan. I'm leaving it
but
alone.
okay, I'm gonna leave it alone too, because I know people listen to this. So moving right along to something, y'all know I like to play with our last topic. I got this from a friend of mine. So is Otani, after being the first player to get 50 home runs and 50 stolen bases ever, and that's crazy that he's the first player to ever do that. Is Otani your baseball GOAT? Um, to me,
It's
he's a
a
great
not
player.
yet thing for me.
Yeah, he's not there yet for me either, but I love him. To me, it'll always be Ken Griffey Jr. because that's the GOAT I grew up with. But he's not like, I'm not saying he's the greatest of all time. He's just my personal GOAT. Clearly, it's Willie Mays and a lot of other people. I didn't live to see Willie Mays. Obviously, Matt and I are not that old, but like,
Hmm.
I am of the mindset that it's Willie Mays.
Yep.
But I think Otani is up there. I think that if he continues, I think the only thing Otani is missing is a ring, and obviously he's playing for the Dodgers to specifically try and get that ring. Um, but I
And the
have,
longevity.
yeah,
Baseball is such a longevity thing. Like,
yeah,
you got to hit me at least 600 home runs. Like, you can't just have, like, that's why even with what Aaron Judge is doing, he's doing goatish things. I mean, it's
right,
unbelievable what he's doing. But baseball is a sport where your longevity really matters for these kind of conversations. Like, it's hard to be like a Jordan or a Barry Sanders in baseball. You have a crazy run of 5 years and you're Mike Trout, but you don't get to be Babe Ruth. Sorry.
okay. Look, man, this is why we have these conversations. Obviously, it's era dependent. So the older people will say it's Willie Mays, it's Babe Ruth, it's this, like the people we didn't see. But to me,
Oh, Willie Mays, absolutely.
yeah,
Oh, yeah,
it's
absolutely.
all,
I'm
it's,
not saying who he just hasn't he hasn't supplanted any of those guys just quite yet. But in
right,
terms of like who talent wise,
yeah.
he's through the roof.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Through
yeah.
the roof.
Look, man, we haven't seen somebody who can pitch and hit since
And
probably
still bases.
and still bases since like Babe Ruth, like Hank Aaron. Like, we haven't seen this in forever. So like I got to give it to him just on that. Like, I haven't seen somebody who can strike you out, hit home runs, and steal bases.
Yeah.
He's him. Like,
Mhm.
um, but straight to our shout out segment, man. Shout out segment. So I'm going to shout out, even though we didn't get to it. I'm going to shout out the Philadelphia Phillies. Matt knows I'm a little bit of a Negadelphian when it comes to the Philadelphia Phillies, but I'm happy that they are one of the top two teams in the league. Although they did fall a little bit. We talked about this before the show. Half game behind Shohei Ohtani's Dodgers, so they need to get the number one spot. But shout out to them for making the playoffs. Obviously, having one of the best records. But they got to do everything they can to avoid the Braves and the Dodgers, at least in the first round. Obviously, the Dodgers probably won't happen, but the Braves they gotta avoid doing what the Phillies did to the Braves the last 2 years, having it done to them. I don't think that's going to happen, but I'm just saying. But that's my shout out. Shout out to the Phillies. I'm trying to think of any other shout outs. Do I have any other shout outs? I think that's it. Go ahead, Matt.
I got to shout out Shohei Ohtani. I mean, we've never seen what he's bringing to the table. You've never seen a guy who can slug for power and possibly lead the league in stolen bases. It's unprecedented. And you add that on top of what he's able to do right now. He's not able to pitch, but as the playoffs inch closer, that's on the way. Um, he's a unicorn. I mean, the guy is truly incredible, and he's dominating his sport at a level that is unparalleled. I think that all he's missing is a ring, and he's really on some Mahomes. I mean, it's Otani and Mahomes in terms of sports, in terms of just completely dominating. I don't think there is a parallel right now in the NBA. Even Jokic, who has with the success that he's had.
He's only got
Um,
one. He's only got one ring.
Yeah, and so
Yeah.
I mean, even with just having one, his distance between, you know, not him being number one and the number two guy is a lot closer. You know what I'm saying? So Mahomes has a lot more distance, and then you got Otani with a lot more distance from him in the number two. And so that's I'm just saying that in terms of just completely dominating your sport,
Right.
it's just incredible what
Right.
Shohei Otani's doing right now.
I agree. And I didn't get to it. We didn't get to it today just because it's jam packed, but we'll get to it next week. But shout out to the WNBA for bringing a franchise to Portland. Again, I think this is the WNBA rectifying its mistakes. I think that Matt, or I did, I can't speak for Matt, but I grew up on the Houston Comets, the Sacramento Monarchs, the Charlotte Sting. Like, Dawn, though most of y'all don't know, that's where Dawn Staley did her time. Like Charlotte Sting, like
Mhm.
sorry, play her ball in Charlotte. Like, y'all don't even know about this. Some of y'all don't even know about these teams. So like, I just think that they just need to redo what they did. The NBA needs to bring back Seattle. I don't know if there'll ever be another team in Vancouver. Those of you that don't know, the Vancouver Grizzlies
Grizzlies.
who are now in Memphis. Like, I don't know if there'll ever be a team in Vancouver anymore.
But
But
the Seattle Supersonics were super cool, man.
they were, man. I totally agree, which is why I said the NBA needs to undo their mistakes. But like, I'm just of the mindset that I'm happy for Portland, but I think everybody, including the city that I'm in, which is the biggest city without a WNBA team, deserves a team. And maybe now that the Sixers probably will have a new arena, like
Yep.
they should have a team. But moving right along to he's not him, she's not her, and they aren't them. I only have one. No, I have two. Two he's not hims. Brett Favre. Those of you that don't know, you might not have seen it. I wanted to pull it up on
Took
Twitter,
the
but I'm
L.
not trying. But I'm not trying to get a defamation lawsuit. So, so, uh, so he's
Clown.
yeah, he. For those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, so he put out a tweet about being a patriot, and I, being the guy that I am, retweeted. Because here's the thing about me, right? I hate hypocrisy. So I hate when
Mhm.
people who are criminals
Mm.
put out something saying patriots, and you're a criminal, right? Like, to me, it is not patriotic to be out here when you
To
are
steal
from.
money from people,
Yeah,
steal money from poor people.
you're stealing money from the state that you're from, which is the poorest. I'll say it again, the poorest state in the union, like the poorest state in the country. And the fact that you, the governor, the treasurer, some in the treasury department, stole from poor black and white people so that your daughter, with all the money that you got from the NFL, could go and have a volleyball stadium. First off, I don't even know how many actual college teams have a dedicated volleyball stadium. I think it's always the basketball stadium that turns into a volleyball stadium. But go girl, whatever. But like, I'm of the mindset that you are a millionaire. Why not take your NFL pension? Like, what is wrong with you? Why don't you do what other rich people do and just get a scholarship? You didn't have to steal money. And then you're out here talking about, I'm a patriot. First off, let me just say, it's unpatriotic, like Matt said, to be stealing money. So he's not him to Brett Favre, because I don't know what was in your mind when you were saying you're a patriot and you still owe, and this is a fact too. His lawyers can try,
Interest.
but this is a fact that you still owe $700 million, not
Million?
$700, $700 million, I
That,
believe.
or is it thousand? No, it must be thousand. It can't be $700 million.
I think it's. We can fact check it. 700,000.
Yeah, don't get yourself sued. Don't get
Yeah,
sued
let me
now.
not get myself
Stay
sued.
on track.
Let me not get myself sued.
That's a
At least
big number.
700,000, I believe. Hold on. Somebody fact check me on this, because I don't want to. I don't want to get sued, because I know his people be
They
trying
be
in the internet.
hunting,
How much
trying to
does
change the story.
Brett Favre owe? Why is the internet going? Anyway, you owe money. The fact of the matter is, you owe 700 something.
Yes, 729,790.
Yeah, you owe $729,790. You owe 730 to the state
So one of the poorest states,
in,
man.
in
Come
the
on,
union.
man.
So pay your money, and then to
I think
Dion,
it's the poorest state in the union. I
yeah,
do believe it is the poorest state in the union.
yeah. So pay your money, and then after that, let's fly on up to Colorado because Dion, Coach Prime, what are you doing, bro? Like, why are you on record? First and foremost, I already thought it was a bad look that you out here sunning journalists who are doing you a favor by covering that team, right? Like, and you're out here telling people, I don't want to talk to him. I want him off the beat. Like, why are you diva-ing out here? And then outside of that, we were off that. But now you come and say that, people are upset, journalists, that these college players are making more money than them. We cover a lot of people who make more money than us, bro. Like, no one is criticizing these people because
So
they
it's
make more
like,
money than
right,
us. Like,
exactly.
like most of the time, people are being objective here because it's your mouth writing the checks, not Shador. I mean, he's cocky himself. It's not Travis Hunter. Like, you say stuff, and it's Travis, Shador, Shiloh, and the rest of the NFL players' sons that you have on your team who has to back up what you say. It's not us saying it. It's what you say. You said, I fixed the offense and the defensive line, and it's still a problem. You the one that hired Warren Sapp, who's never been a coach in his life, to coach the defensive line. Yeah, I said it, Warren. I've been on your behind since the season started. like you shouldn't be. You should be in a TV studio. You should not be coaching, bro. Like, you're a great player, but as we see with Michael Jordan, just because you're a great player doesn't mean you have a great mind for the game and should be coaching and or GMing. Like, these are just facts, Dion. Like win some games.
Cooking this man.
Win some games. You just beat Colorado State. Win some games. Be humble, bro. Like, I want you. Matt knows. I love people who can back up what they say. But you are a coach now, bro. Your playing days are far from over. And right now, like I said, it is just the Shador Sanders and Travis Hunter show when it comes to Colorado. That's all you're really watching for. Whether they win or lose is suboptimal. Matt knows. Last year, I was the one saying that Colorado was overrated. A lot of people thought I was being a hating behind black man. But I was trying to tell people objectively that Colorado wasn't good. Like, they just beat a TCU team that was overrated. Like, they weren't good. And so, please, Dion, please, for the love of God, because I want to stop talking about you. Like, please, just win games. Stop writing checks your team can't cash. And just be better to the journalists, because I don't like hearing that instead of the Colorado, this has been confirmed too, instead of the Colorado band being able to play the fight song. Those of you that watch Colorado games, you may wonder why every time other teams score, they have their band playing their fight song, but Colorado doesn't. The reason that is because Dion has made an edict, because he's the coach of the football team, that the band cannot play the fight song. Every time Colorado scores, they need to play Shador Sanders' rap song. Now, does that transfer into more buys for his rap song? I don't know, but I want to give credit to the local journalists in Colorado that did the research to find out. So, Dion, you're losing in a lot of other aspects. So please, I want to stop cooking you. I want people to stop calling me a hater because I'm spitting facts on you and being objective. So I'm gonna leave it alone, Matt.
I didn't know the rap song stuff. That's super corny. That's super corny. I'm just gonna leave it. I'm just gonna mic drop that. It's been 2 hours, folks. Thank you. I'll just jump to my final thoughts. The Eagles, like I said earlier, if you were listening earlier to the Eagles, the discussion on last week, and then moving forward to this week, if the Eagles lose to the Saints, it will say more about the Eagles than it says about the Saints. Even if the Saints move to 3-0, I do not believe that this is some world-beaten team. It'll be because the Eagles pooped themselves, on national television. That's the only way they go down. And New Orleans is a great environment. The fans are going to be excited and happy and ready to roll. They got a good team. Cam Jordan, great culture pieces. Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger. You got Alvin Kamara. Good players all around. But I'm sorry, they don't compare to what the Eagles have rolled out there, what Jeffrey Lurie is paying for. So if the Eagles lose tomorrow, it's not going to be no excuses, not going to be a bad call. This game should be a 10-point Eagles win.
Yeah. And Matt knows he's going to be the first one. Well, he's going to be the first one to get whatever article I write on it. So I'm of the mindset that the Eagles should win tomorrow. This is a game that feels like it's built for a 10 to on the high side, 20, 25 point game. I'm going to say Eagles win 30-20. You know, that's the score I'm going with.
Okay.
I think that the Eagles will win. Hopefully, I think that y'all. Matt knows I can't wait. I'm rubbing my hands. I am Birdman memeing. I hope what he said about the Rams beating the 49ers comes true. I don't think it will. We're going to be on the opposite side of that. But he already knows. It don't take much for me to slander the 49ers. So I can't wait. But like, you know, I think the 49ers win tomorrow. I think they find a
Brock
way.
Purdy approve a lot to me.
Yeah.
If he has no Kittle, no Debo, or no Kittle, no C-Mac, and he gets it done, okay.
Yeah, but
I'm gonna stop with the slander.
if
But I
Matt,
don't think he's gonna get it done.
but Matt doesn't say a lot of football stuff in a vacuum. So if that does happen, then I'm wrong. I'll take my L, but I'll be rubbing my hands together for that 49ers slander next week. All right, y'all. But thank you so much. Thank you, Matt, for standing in the gap. Probably see more of Matt on the show more. But check him out. Honorable mention as well on all streaming platforms. New season coming soon as he recovers. As he said earlier, he's recovering from a cold. But, you know, we thank you so much, brother. Thank you all for listening, whether you're listening now or later. But definitely check us out. Dion, Brett Favre, get right. And I'm going to leave it at that. See y'all later.